All right, we are live for another episode of Real Estate Junkies podcast. Today we are switching gears here. We have a guest with us, Scott Stein. He are going to talk with us, diving into outdoor and offline advertising strategies. I know we always talk about digital marketing. We talk about automations, AI, and how to leverage technology to generate business. We thought it would be probably of benefit talking to Scott and doing this interview with him, going over what he is doing on the business side of things. He's a commercial real estate agent out of New Jersey with eXp Realty, and going to share with us offline advertising strategies that work in today's market. So you do not want to miss out on this insights Scott will share with us to elevate your real estate game, leveraging offline strategies. Scott, welcome to the podcast. It's a pleasure having you, brother.
Thank you, Saeed. Happy to be here.
Yeah, first of all, let's get into, I guess, like, can you tell us a little bit about your journey into commercial real estate? What drew you into this sector specifically?
Sure. So, most of my career, I had been a small business person. I owned and operated non-real estate businesses. I was in the trade show business. I was in the advertising business, and some businesses were successful. Some of them were crappy. And during the pandemic, I had a business that relied on other small businesses that were closed. So I had to pivot a little bit. I have some friends coming out of the office building that I'm next to.
Uh-huh.
And I got real estate licensed and auction licensed. I
Okay.
never had a business license before, and that's what I chose. I
Wow.
chose auction because I thought the world was going to fall apart and I would be able to sell every strip mall and farmhouse in neighboring Pennsylvania, a little bit more rural. Turns out I was wrong about that, right? Real estate went up in most every category. But the real estate license has proven to be a nice change for me. I still focus on business owned property because I just talk to business owners all day.
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah.
in between businesses, in between my small businesses, I was a business broker. I helped my father, who was a business broker for many years.
Oh, wow. So that got you into commercial real estate. Obviously, it was a no-brainer for you.
I had some affinity to it and an idea of who I could serve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now tell us about outdoor and offline advertising. I know you mentioned to me, you shared with me that you have done that for sold offline advertising strategies to business owners, right? To other businesses. So tell us a little bit about the opportunity there for real estate agents, team leaders, brokers to advertise themselves.
Okay. Well, I've been familiar with a few different forms of advertising. In particular, my specialty was shopping cart advertising.
Mm-hmm.
And not only for small businesses, but sometimes realtors are one of the bigger categories of supporters of that market, right? And that would be in a supermarket, either an ad on the shopping cart or a poster in front of the store or some sort of display in the store, maybe that you have to interact with or touch on the way in. Might have cart wipes, might have something near the carts.
Yeah.
You can imagine why that might be good because that is hyper local.
Mm-hmm.
If you live in a populated metro area, the supermarket only draws from a few miles in each direction,
Yeah.
sometimes only 1 mile.
Mm-hmm.
And that might be in a populated area, the exact area that you could farm.
Yeah. For sure.
Or in the olden days, when you didn't have as much internet options, the dominant realtor in many areas was the most successful realtor or agent or broker in the community, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now you might not see it as much, but there are still great advantages to being having some market share
Yeah.
in a community, right?
Oh, yeah.
And by the way, that's for any business. The
Mm-hmm.
pizza place is competing with several other pizza places, and hopefully will have a market share within the community or something unique that they do. It could be through their advertising, and their specific advertising could be a way that makes them unique.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Now, I guess like being top of mind is the goal here, right? And many agents focus heavily on digital marketing today, and of course, I'm guilty as charged. Like, that's what we totally rely on. So what advantages do you see in incorporating outdoor and offline ad strategies into broader marketing plan for real estate agents?
Okay. If you had some sort of ad, offline or online, but it's harder to do online, that people just from your community would see every week, sometimes a few times a week,
Yeah.
for a year
Yeah.
or 2 years or 3 years, just like Pepsi or Apple
Mm.
has a budget for just image advertising, for
Yeah.
brand advertising.
Hmm.
You, in effect, are doing the same thing in your market.
Yeah.
Hard to do in a county or the state, right?
Yeah.
Very hard.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
in your one town or in the two towns that might make up a certain percentage of houses,
Yeah.
that's one way to do it. Now,
Yeah.
someone goes online, they're going to go online anyway, but they might see 5 realtors depending on the search they do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, if they saw 5 realtors, but they recognize you
Yeah.
from the supermarket or from
Yeah.
the billboard
Hmm.
or from a good sponsorship that you do
Yeah.
where the community goes to maybe a few times a year, town fair, I don't know, anything. Sponsorship could be any community event, right? That might separate you out. And if they were going to call 2 people and not the first Google result,
Yeah.
that might get you some leads, right? And some good ones.
For sure. So sounds like
That's
to
the
me
theory.
it's building authority and becoming very hyper local, and targeted marketing is
Yeah.
the goal or the biggest
And by the
advantage.
way, let's go back one step. You
Yeah.
know what the best local marketing is?
What
Five
is
listings, 5 signs in the ground within a mile radius. When people drive
Yeah.
by and they see 3 houses that you listed with your
Yeah.
face on it.
Yeah.
That's better than all online and offline,
Awesome.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you had that, or if that was your goal, or if you were soon going to have that,
Yeah.
and then you wanted to increase that a little bit,
Hmm.
then some local offline promotion might be
Yeah.
good for you.
Yeah. For sure.
Or if you were going, you did that, you paid for it, so you have money. You paid for it, you got to pay for a year, you got to put in, invest a few thousand maybe. Then if you started farming that area, either with postcards offline
Yeah.
or
Hmm.
door knocking or cold calling,
Hmm.
imagine how much progress you can make doing that.
For sure. So it's
Again,
becoming.
you got to pick an area, be
Yeah.
around,
Yeah.
and have a listing or two.
Yeah.
But then that's the best. Then you're really dominating. Then you're kind of pushing out some of the other competitors in a
Yeah,
way.
for sure. So it's creating that familiarity, right? Like creating that knowability, likability, and trustability. I feel like that's the biggest advantage. Now, how do you determine the right locations for outdoor advertising, signage to target the right audience for real estate?
Good. There are other people who will tell you how to pick a farm and a market and
Mm.
whether it's good. I'm trying to remember some of the YouTube videos I watched. You take the price point that you think you can do well in and check the turnover every month or every year in the MLS and do a few calculations. But most people have an idea. And of course, if they're a homeowner or even a
Mm.
renter in a town, you can choose usually the 2 or 3 mile radiuses around your place, right?
Yeah.
To
Hmm.
start, if you didn't know any
Yeah.
better and you wanted to make it easier on yourself.
Hmm. Yeah. Makes sense.
And competitively, there wasn't, 5 experienced realtors controlling 20-30% of the market,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
But that's not often the case. So you,
Yeah.
you can break into many areas, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I
Maybe
think.
maybe in a city where someone could be the 3 great YouTube channels in a city. It's not everything, but that's a great plan too, right? I don't know how to
Yeah.
do that,
Yeah.
but
I
that
think.
seems to be working very good for a lot of agents.
Yeah, I think showing up consistently is the name of the game, right? And that's what we teach even in digital marketing, right? Showing up consistently, showing up with value. So If you're gonna do offline advertising, shopping cart, your grocery store ads, right? You should show up consistently, which is like long-term contracts for those advertising, but also multiple channels, right? Like you should, like you mentioned, add a direct mail campaign in those certain neighborhoods that you want to target taking listings. So that way they feel like, oh, this person's everywhere, right?
And by the way, a
Yeah.
combination, of course, of active and passive.
Hmm.
So the billboard, the space ads are passive.
Yeah.
They run, they don't change,
Hmm.
and you don't do anything.
Yeah.
You get what you get. And by the way, you're counting impressions. It's very hard to track them, especially the local ones. You can't you can no longer put a phone number in there, a unique phone number, and see how many calls you got.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be a low. It's going to be low. But again, if you show up good on Google
Hmm.
and someone's considering several realtors and they know you, they're going to call the Google phone number, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or the Google tracking number,
Yeah.
or the Zillow tracking number if they go to Zillow instead of Google, right?
Hmm. Yeah. So what
Um,
is it about? You can't put phone number on there anymore. Why can't you put
you
phone number?
could, but I'm telling you, it's virtually worthless
Yeah.
because they're going to see it, they're going to see it, they're going to see it, and then when they need to sell the home, they're going to go to a search engine, Zillow,
Yeah.
Realtor, YouTube, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can't do it anymore. Used to be able to do that, old school.
Yeah, people used to look for phone numbers, right? When they see advertising, like, what's the phone number? These days, you probably should put like a lead magnet, right, on that ad, right? Like,
Well,
what's your home value?
A
Question
QR
mark,
code is
QR code.
good.
Yeah.
QR code a little bit, but the QR code is better, closer to the buying decision, like on the house, right? Or closer if you can get it.
I think there is this one strategy we teach for our agents who do open houses, right? And that they are generating. You'll be surprised if you put a QR code that leads to a landing page or a website that collects address, phone number, email. You basically put what's your home value question mark, right? What's really your home value question mark QR code, right? How many people would scan that? People that are homeowners, right? It would be
Where are they seeing that? Is that an online ad? Is that a squeeze page of some sort?
no open house signs. Open house
Oh,
signs.
on the open house sign, right? Because
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
right directly related to the thing that they could physically go to. Yes,
yeah, yeah.
that it
No,
kind of
I,
engages with
I,
what
I
I
could,
said.
I would probably want to test that to see how many leads you would generate by putting what's really your home value question mark QR code on a grocery store sign or a grocery store ad, and see how many leads you generate. People, you'll be surprised to see how many people scan that to see what's their home value.
Why doesn't Apple put a QR code on their billboard in front of the Lincoln Tunnel that gets millions of views a month?
I'm not sure. Yeah.
Because if an image ad, it's a little hard depending on
Yeah. Yeah, yeah,
where it
yeah,
is.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. True. Now, offline marketing can often feel outdated for some agents, right? Like, oh, billboards or signs. What are some creative ways you have used, traditional, or you have seen people use
Okay.
traditional
So
offline
by the
marketing?
way, I consider another thing offline, which I don't know if you do, that I like, Craigslist.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We do.
Craigslist is in effect the classified of a newspaper that happens to be a website, and you
Yeah,
could respond digitally, but it's almost like offline.
yeah, yeah.
So people passively search Craigslist for different things,
Hmm.
and I know one of the I don't know what it's called, the CRM for real estate, KV Core,
Hmm.
has an easy way to throw up on Craigslist. I love that, and I love scanning for Craigslist as a business person. The people who are advertising for jobs are all
Yeah,
smaller entrepreneurial companies that are either growing or changing, maybe in need of a supplier, maybe in
yeah.
need of a broker, depending
Hmm.
on what they do.
Yeah,
And if that's the case, maybe even in need of a realtor if they're moving their business, right?
yeah. Hmm.
So to me, that's another entrepreneurial way that's a bit more active. You have to look for that. You have to respond and help people. and or reply to a blind ad if you're
Yeah.
replying to other people's ads if you're not posting.
Yeah.
Both are good, right?
Yeah.
So to me,
Yeah.
that's like another entrepreneurial thing. You could post or you can respond to ads in your category. Uh, it's just another thing to do that is old school and almost offline.
Yeah. No, it's actually something we teach to our agents,
You
especially
teach the
new
agents
agents.
a nice program. You must have a nice program. I got to look into it
Yeah.
or
we
recommend it.
yeah, we teach setting up, I shouldn't say this publicly, but I'll say it anyway. Setting up houses for lease on Craigslist, and you could generate anywhere between 100 to 300 leads a month. That are tenant leads. So what we do is we drive that traffic to an application. It's a survey that the tenants fill out, and based on certain criteria, bankruptcy status, credit score, income, they either become a buyer lead or they don't, right? Like if they don't qualify for those factors, the lead doesn't come into the system. And if they do have good credit score, if they haven't filed bankruptcy and they have good income, monthly income, household income, then they come into the system as a lead, and then the agents call and convert them into buyers because we know financially they do qualify, right? So Craigslist is one of the, Zillow is another way you can generate that traffic.
And by
Facebook
the way,
Marketplace.
do you tell them to do anything with the landlords that are or the brokers that are advertising on Craigslist?
The for rent by owners.
Yeah.
Yeah, for rent by owners, of course you can reach out to them and see if they're interested in, if they have considered selling the property
Right.
instead. Yeah, for sure. So let's talk about EXP, right? Like you have chosen to be part of EXP as a commercial agent. How has been EXP an impact on your approach to growing your commercial business?
Okay. Talk a little bit about EXP. Uh, I admitted that I'm a recent licensee, so it's my first brokerage.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I knew about the model because I used to go to realtor events and I met people. I even met Jay Kinder a number of years ago
Oh
when he
wow.
was giving
He's
seminars
actually,
in my
yeah,
area.
he's actually one of my sponsors. Yeah.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
And I knew, it was a unique model for realtors. As a businessman, I like unique business models. Cloud brokerage is one of them.
Yeah.
Um, when I saw that one of my friends who was in the event business, I told you I was in a trade show business, she was in related business, and she also became a broker later on for mostly retail. And I saw she joined EXP Commercial. I'm like, oh my God, they have a commercial division. That's the
Yeah.
coolest thing in the world. And that was part of what got me going during the pandemic.
Okay.
The commercial division has a model very similar to residential
Yeah.
in that it's cap, it's low commission, um, good tools,
Yeah.
and very collaborative.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I'm unique because I come from everything from a business sense.
Yeah.
Again, I work on business property. I call entrepreneurs and business owners and see if I can help them with their business, even if it doesn't have property, buy or sell a business,
Yeah.
or buy, sell, or lease property.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I went to my first meeting at a commercial meeting in New York with people. Met a nice woman. She said, "Scott, you're not too far from me. You have a tenant for this warehouse." I said, "Oh, great. How did you meet the owner?" She said, "It's my building. I need a tenant. Can you help me?"
Yeah.
So many people in EXP are so entrepreneurial, like yourself. I don't even know how many businesses you have, what your specialty is, but I know you're a good person to know because
Mhm.
of that, not just because you're a podcast.
Yeah.
So many people have property. So many people have been involved in other businesses, and they're some of the most entrepreneurial realtors too, because they
Yeah.
had to take kind of a risk and
Yeah.
go to this model
Yeah. Yeah.
and work within it.
Yeah.
And I think it attracts very good people.
Yeah.
And I
Okay.
get I get referrals from EXP realty agents all day long.
Oh yes, as a commercial agent, of course,
Yeah,
definitely.
and they get money
Business.
if it works
Now,
out.
where do you see the? Yeah. Yes, of course. Where do you see the future of commercial real estate is heading, particularly with some of these, there's a lot of uncertainty with the commercial real estate, a lot of vacancies, right? Like, where do you see it going in the coming years?
I hope I don't have to use my auction license for commercial properties.
Yeah.
By the way, CoStar,
CoStar, yeah. Yeah, yeah,
good
yeah.
company.
Uh-huh.
They have LoopNet. They actually
Yes.
own BizBuySell, the best, one of the largest business for sale websites. And I have an account there, and I list businesses that I have for sale.
Mm-hmm.
And they also have a pretty good auction site.
Mm-hmm.
I've talked to some commercial agents. They got a small building, certain size, certain parameter. They don't have time to work on it. Call up, find buyers, whatever. They just auction it.
Yeah.
And CoStar, has a good list of buyers. That works out well sometimes.
Nice. Yeah.
I hope that a lot of things other than office don't start showing up for auction.
So it sounds like you're telling us that there is a downturn coming, or
No, I'm hoping not. I don't really know. I've told you I'm
yeah.
the guy who thought the downturn would happen and it never happened. So I don't want to
Yeah.
predict.
Yeah.
There could be softness. I think there's already some softness in markets. Industrial was very, very strong until recently. It's obviously had to slow down sometimes, slowing down a little bit. I don't follow multifamily because a lot of that works on market and on the MLS, and there's some good realtors in the major cities near me that can handle multifamily pretty good. And
Mhm.
in my own weird bias, multifamily isn't a business. It's an
Yeah.
investment mostly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas every other category of industrial,
It's more considered.
retail, office, industrial, can be for your business or part of your business.
Mm-hmm. That makes
So,
sense.
yeah.
Yeah. Now,
Depending on who wins the election, that could affect the market. We'll see.
what advice would you give residential real estate agents who are considering shifting to or expanding into commercial sector?
Oh, okay. Uh, be like me or some of the people ask your clients about business.
Yeah.
You sold a house to someone. You got the guy's tax returns, or you've seen the front.
Yeah.
You know if they own or work in a small business.
Mm-hmm.
Don't forget to say, by the way, you're now my customer. Want to
Yeah.
take care of you. I have partners or
Mm.
people in my brokerage that specialize in business or commercial real estate.
Yeah.
Is that of any interest?
Mm-hmm.
Very few realtors are entrepreneurial enough to ask that. But if
Yeah.
they do, they could come across opportunities. And some of them they can handle themselves,
Yeah. Yeah.
especially leases. You're a good negotiator. You can figure out the market on a small lease relatively,
Mm-hmm.
relatively easy. That's why it's something you do to yourself and keep all the money.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
come across a bigger deal, more complicated deal, you could learn a little about it or
Yeah.
refer it to someone, preferably, who could give you a cut
Yeah.
and
Oh.
make the deal. And by the way, it's hard to imagine that so many of these commercial deals, you can't search LoopNet and Crexy and find any property that your customer may be looking for, at least
Mm-hmm.
in metro areas where I am. You have
Yeah.
to know off market. You have to talk to other brokers. You have to talk to owners. You have to look for properties that aren't being utilized well and make offers sometimes to buy the business that's living in that property.
Yeah.
All kinds of hard combinations that are a little hard to imagine if you haven't been in the market.
Yeah. Makes sense.
And guys like me or better than me who've been brokering in one county,
Mm.
doing only one type of industrial class, know all the owners
Yeah.
and could,
Yeah.
help.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. It could be a great source of referral income for them, right? If they are leveraging their business owner clients, if they're servicing them to buy a house, there's definitely some need,
I
and they're
just came
probably
from one of the build events. We spoke there.
yeah. We spoke
Yeah,
there.
where
Yeah.
Brent Grove talked, and he's talking about how much he sends to his commercial agent.
Yeah.
Why does he do that? Because he's a beast. He
Mm.
doesn't barely has time to do any residential, but he talks to people like a business person
Mm-hmm.
and very entrepreneurial, even though very focused, right? Very successful in what he does, but
Yeah.
still has time to help commercial And he recently made, the EXP Explained is a popular video that people find on YouTube before they
Yeah.
come to a cloud brokerage.
Yeah.
He made a commercial explained just recently. That's how good he is in knowing even the commercial market.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's
Have you
amazing.
seen that one?
No, I haven't. No. EXP
It's with
commercial
it's with
explained?
the California guy who goes by the name I think PDF
Uh-huh.
commercial. It's
Wow.
nice.
Okay. Now, looking ahead, how do you see the commercial landscape evolving for yourself, and what steps are you taking to future-proof your business in the ever-changing market?
Like everyone, I'm trying to keep up on some of the newer technology tools,
Mm-hmm.
but that's secondary to continuing to learn the market that I'm in.
Yeah.
And for me, it's a little hard because I'm admittedly broad because I'm business first, and
Mm-hmm.
businesses are help businesses in so many different industries.
Yeah.
Some industries I know better than others. Some classes of commercial I know better than others. But really, in this collaborative company we're in, I also spend time keeping track of who knows more than me in either another market or another class.
Yeah.
Who knows more than me about retail, knows more than me than office. And either work with them or they help me through a deal or any
Yeah.
other combination to
Yeah.
help business clients.
Mm.
So
Nice.
it takes
Yeah.
up a lot of time. I got a network
Yeah.
in the market. I got a network within the brokerage. And then, of course, EXP only has so much market share now. I got a network with other commercial brokers.
And other companies, right? Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
because they each have their own unique off-market listings,
Yes. Yeah.
which we don't talk about unless you talk sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. So people, yeah.
Relatively inefficient at this time. I don't know
Yeah,
if it's
that's
going
what
to
I learned.
change.
That commercial brokers don't like to share their listing. They like to keep it in their pocket.
And especially if they think they can do both sides,
Yeah.
we don't have as much issue as Realty does with representing people. And you
Yeah.
remember why?
Yeah.
Most of us are not members of an MLS.
Yeah.
We can discriminate to the benefit of our owners, whatever that means.
Yeah.
Usually to save them time or money or confidentiality.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you can't really do that as well as a realtor nowadays. May change, may
Yeah.
merge a lot more, but
Yeah.
right now, that's the big difference.
All right. Well, Scott, it's been a pleasure having this conversation with you.
Good. So you said you have to be in front of people with frequency. I remember that.
Yeah.
How many times am I going to be featured in the podcast? Like monthly? What's the best practice? You tell me.
We could do it monthly. Yeah.
Will anybody watch? Is the question.
Well, people do
Well,
watch.
we'll
I
let me
get.
know if anyone watches this one, right?
Yeah. We get anywhere between 300 to 700 viewers on my podcast episodes here. And then we also take the long form videos and turn them into short form. So that's
Oh, we
thousands.
might be on
Yeah.
YouTube Shorts.
Yeah, YouTube Shorts,
Woo!
TikTok, yeah,
Okay.
TikTok, Instagram, Reels, yeah.
Right. I would have wore a better shirt if I knew that. Super.
You're funny, yeah. All right, man.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure. Yeah, thanks for adding the value, and I'm wishing you the best with the market. My opinion, take it for what it is. I don't know commercial a lot. I truly believe there is a downturn coming on commercial. There will be a lot of foreclosures specifically with adjustable rates and everything that's happening with the rates and inflation and businesses going virtual and cloud-based companies, technology, AI, right? Like a lot of jobs are being eliminated, right?
Today, Amazon announced that you have to work 5 days a week starting in January. Woohoo! A tiny little positive amongst the coming wave of negative news, maybe.
Yeah.
But Saeed, you are not the only person who thinks that.
I just try to observe. I just try to read between the lines. That's all.
You know that in auction school they teach you how to chant.
And
I said
yeah.
$10 bid now, 20 now, 20. Give and how to use your hands to direct the bids. Now, in a real estate auction, in front, if there is a live auction in front of the building, it's only going to be 10 buyers, and you could say 850. Do you still want it? You could go a little slower because it's only one building. If it's and even the guys that sell lots of land on the lake, they only have 100 lots. You don't have to chant real quick. But if you're doing a livestock auction or a heavy equipment auction, you really got to keep it going quick. Just figure you might want to know that.
Yeah, that's interesting. All right, brother. It's been a pleasure. Thanks for jumping on, and
Anytime.
let's stay connected. I'm looking forward to collaborate with you.
Great. Best.
All
Bye
right.
bye.